Hi, I'm Brian Hamlet with BrianHamlet.com. Today I'm going to help you answer the question, how do I come up with a business idea that I can be passionate about? Many of us as individuals, when we first decide to go into business for ourselves, struggle with how to come up with the idea for our first business. But the problem is we do not just want to come up with the business idea to start that focuses on, let's say, what we're good at. We'd rather find the idea that we can be passionate about, that we can pour our heart and soul in and want to develop and grow. Now, over the years, I've come up with an exercise that helps me solve that question. It's called the PGT map, which stands for passions, gifts, and talents. Now, if you want to do this with us, go ahead and grab yourself a sheet of paper and a pen, write in 3 different columns, passions, gifts, and talents. Now, when you think of passions, these are the things that bring you joy, that make you happy, that make you want to get up in the morning and live another day and spend your time on. For me, these would include teaching, conversing, or meeting new people. I love to build relationships. Could be for me discovering ideas or trying something new. Problem solving. Now that actually spans from just my love of playing strategic games. Helping others succeed. This is probably the core of who I am. Something I learned from my father, just this absolute joy from helping someone else be successful. Breaking through negativity. I seem to be labeled as a lot of times the eternal optimist. I wasn't always that way. It was something that I had to go through some things to get me there. But now I try to help others break through that negativity. And the last and probably core one for me, on top of that, is business and entrepreneurship. I just love the idea of business ownership. Now, when you look at your passions, here's something I want you to do. If you can break these down in detail any further, do so. I'm going to do it for one of mine just so you can see. When it comes to business and entrepreneurship, I actually love the startup phase. I seem to be attracted to individuals that have either just come up with their idea or they've just launched their business and they're needing help getting it off the ground. Or for me also, let's say they're within the first 3 years of operation. I have a lot of clients with my business Empower Consultant that are far beyond that, but I seem to be highly attracted to those that are still in the beginning. Now, when I look at gifts, these gifts are the things that your friends, family, colleagues, partners, and customers would say about you. So when you think of the things they would tell you, you seem naturally gifted in this. What are those things? Now, guess what? If you cannot name those, go ask them. This is where communication and relationship building become important. Ask them what they think you're naturally good at. For me, I've been told I'm a great teacher. Ability to break things down simply in a way that people understand and effectively communicate that. Breaking down problems. Taking something complex and making it something easier to understand. That actually goes along with a lot of people say that I'm just naturally good at problem solving. Just ability to look at a problem and start addressing how to solve it. Another one being verbal and visual communication. Now here's something that's important to note. This one I've got a little more specified because that's the feedback that's been shared to me. Verbally and visually, I'm good at communicating. They've told me it's not that my handwriting's bad, my grammar's bad, but my same narrative does not come across in my writing as when I'm standing in front of them and verbally telling them. So what they focused in on for me is when I'm doing public speaking. So again, we're breaking down in more detail these that we have the information for. Adaptability, just the natural ability to change how I work within a situation based on the parameters of that environment. I know that sounds very scientific. The person who really told me about this pretty much is a scientist. Last one being a quick learner. I seem to have this natural ability to pick up concepts quickly and their application and start using them. Now, when we look at talents, these are actually the skills that you have been taught or have learned and practiced over the years. Talents and gifts are not the same thing. These are the things you're naturally good at. These are the things that you've actually had to work to develop. For me, first one being web design and development. I've been building websites for over 10 years, something I'm well versed in. Next one being video production. Now, some of these you're going to see, and this one included, I'm actually not an expert in video production. Do not think the only ones that go underneath talents are the ones you're really good at. These are things that even if you had the basics and could apply the basics, write them down. So video production came from a previous position, previous employment. Knowledge I gained there, ability to do it. I've got the equipment and the know-how. E-commerce. This comes a bit from the business I own now called Empower Consulting and previous freelance work, a little bit with web design development, but I treat it separately because it's a bit different business model. Product creation and distribution. Again, this comes from a previous position that I worked in where we dealt not just with physical products and how to set up a distribution channel or supply chain as well, but also digital product creation. So break that out. This for me is physical and digital. That's going to be important. Last one that's relatively new is process engineering. I had the wonderful benefit of being taught by a Six Sigma black belt named Marianne Stoddard, who was in between contracts. And she and I met at a networking event, had a great discussion, and she decided to meet up with me for probably the next 6 weeks. We met up at a Panera Bread, and she taught me the basic foundations of Six Sigma. Now, these are something that I've started applying in my business, and it's been fantastic. So I add that to talents. Now, when you get your three, passions, gifts, and talents, what you're looking for are the points of commonality. Things that exist either in 2 of these or 3 of these. I call those your core 3. And the idea here is looking at these points of commonality, you're going to start seeing what really drives you, what would most interest you as a business idea. For me, first one that seemed obvious was teaching. I've got it in passions, I've got it in gifts. It can go along with visual communication and public speaking since I have to do that in front of them. Capitalizes on helping others succeed, maybe even breaking through negativity. So I've got that written as my first one. Second one, solving problems. Again, this is something that exists in numerous areas. I've got discovering ideas and problem solving. To me, if I'm discovering ideas, then most of the time I'm tackling a problem that either someone's presented to me or I'm trying to address myself. So I've got those 2 there. I've got breaking down problems and problem solving here as well. Might even fall a little bit under adaptability. Don't be afraid to include some of these under there if it helps you solidify what your core 3 are. And over here, I actually use Six Sigma in problem solving. For those of you who are Six Sigma trained, you understand applied to a business, this is something that helps you remove the mistakes or remove the problems that are causing issues in your company. My third one is starting a business. This goes along with my love of entrepreneurship and helping others succeed, which I've got here. Got this whole section here that talks about that. To me, it even falls along with teaching. Now, something that I want to break down a little bit more is teaching seems obvious for me when I look at this. Solving problems seems just as obvious. It seems that I love to be more innovative than solving past problems, finding new solutions when I look at my passions. But when it comes to starting a business, I've actually labeled, I seem highly attracted to those that are just getting their business off the ground. So I'm actually going to write starting a business, but I'm really dealing with those that are in startup phase. Now, if I look over here to my right, my skills, my talents that I've been taught, it's really focused on the web. So maybe I need to focus on an idea for web-based businesses. So when I look at my passions, my gifts, and my talents, what they're telling me is the core 3 things that drive me, that are the great foundations for my next business idea, should focus on teaching, solving problems, and starting a business that is in the startup phase or the web-based phase. So if I want to analyze that, and that's what you need to do, is analyze what that means, I need to be helping individuals that are just trying to get their business off the ground and using the web as a way to build it and promote it and market that solve some new problem or solve some common problems that we're facing, or maybe even solving their problems and being a new startup and teaching them how to overcome those problems, how to develop the solutions. So there's my core 3 giving me already some ideas for the type of business I need to start. Now next week, I'm going to develop a video blog post that actually shows you how to use your attracted audience and your core 3 to come up with your list of business ideas. Now, to give you already an idea and to keep you interested, your attracted audience is different than your target audience. And all of us already have an attracted audience. So stay tuned next week where we're going to learn how to turn that into our next successful business. I'm Brian Hamlet with BrianHamlet.com.